All right, guys, this is part 2 of this image. I have pulled it into Photoshop directly from Lightroom. That's just how I prefer to do this. I know there are other ways. I'm self-taught, and this is just how I do it. This is what works for me, so I'm going to teach you what works for me. Okay, so while we are in here, I'm going to be using some keyboard shortcuts. I'm not on a Mac, so I will be telling you the shortcuts. Hopefully I walk you through this the correct way. I do Control and the plus to make it just a little bit larger, and then you can do Control and minus. It will go right back. I always start with a background fix. I like to fix all of my images the background first because that tends to be the most difficult part. So I like to get it out of the way. So we're going to make it just a little bit bigger. Clearly we just need this piece to fade. So I have presets that will actually do this for me very quickly, but when I was learning, I did not know what presets to get, and I'm sorry, not presets, the actions. I didn't know which actions to get, and actually they didn't really have a good action for this. So I taught myself how to do it by hand, and so I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to come over here to the left, and we're going to pick your eyedropper, and then we're going to find a shade that we want to paint this area in with. I tend to try to pick something a little bit brighter and outside of the shadow because I can always go back in and add some more shadow if I need to. So I'm going to pick right about here, and then we're going to get a paintbrush. We're going to look up here. I always, like very rarely do I use a hard brush. I will typically always sit right in here in the soft round. There's your size, so you can make your brush big or small that way. And yeah. So my hardness is typically at a 5, sometimes a little bit less, or sometimes a little bit more. Whoops, I'm going to do Control Z, that's going to back me out of that. And then I'm going to grab a smaller brush. So you can do that up here in the module, but I'm going to come just right over here to the brackets. It's the left bracket on the keyboard, and make it smaller this way. I always have my right hand on the mouse and my left hand on the keyboard, so it moves a little bit quicker. So I'm just going to come brush this right over the top of here. Nice and light. My flow is at 53%. My opacity is at 91%. I like to keep the flow low so that I can physically just paint this on where I want it, and it's not all blocked up. We're going to back out of that and just check it, make sure that's how I want it, and it is. So we're going to leave it just like that. Now we can do a little bit of skin touch-up. I'll show you how to do that without using any actions first. We're going to go over here to the little spot healing tool, this little band-aid. You can grab some other stuff out of here. Really, the only thing I ever use from this is the spot healing brush. Again, you're going to make it a little bit smaller. Like I said in the last video, I really, really love these little birthmarks on her, this little stork bite. I don't ever edit that out of my newborn images. You'll see that it'll soften up a little bit as we go, but I always leave it there. Same thing, this little red spot underneath her nose, that is actually part of this entire birthmark cluster, so we leave that. So what is not part of this cluster are these little red marks here, because this came from her little passy that she had right before that, and then she also scratched her face right there. And then she's also got this little bit of skin. Let's make this a little bit larger so that we can see. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to grab just click, 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 and it's going to go away. I'm on the content aware at the top, and the mode is going to be replace. And that's going to make it smooth in really nicely with her skin. And you may have to click it a couple times, but then it's going to go. She's got a little bit of fuzz up here in her hair. That's probably from blankets that I had her on. And then we're just going to go through here and do this. So for this set right here, it's a little bit darker than the others. So I will show you in a moment what we're going to do. We're going to take care of that in a minute. Okay, sometimes you have to watch, especially in newborns, they'll have little flaky arms and everything. I don't typically edit that out much. I'll smooth it some, but I really love flaky fingers and especially flaky toes. Like I don't ever mess with any of that. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here to my actions panel. What I have default actions. These are free. You can download these. Just Google for free Photoshop actions. This is a great mix right here, but I don't ever use most of those. Those are for more than what I'm going to do here. Sorcery Sauce is from Hello Little. Highly recommend. It's amazing for backgrounds. My most used actions are from Totally Rad, the Pro Retouch, you can see right here. These are my skin actions that I use 100% of the time on every single image. So I'm going to start with the Deblotch Medium, and I'm going to click play, and that's going to play for me. And what I love about theirs is that it pops up with that little block and tells you exactly how to use it. And what it's best for. And that comes in really handy when you are really like first starting out and not knowing anything about Photoshop. I definitely appreciated it. Okay, I'm going to make my brush smaller. Again, I'm using the keyboard, the left bracket. The right bracket makes it larger, left bracket makes it smaller. I'm going to leave my opacity at 100% because I really like to brush this on a little bit darker and then take it down as needed. My flow is still going to be at 53% up here. So you're not going to be able to change your flow once you brush it on, but you can come back in here after you brush it on and lower it a little bit. So we're just going to brush this right here. See, that takes her little birthmark down just a little bit. Just a touch. It's not actually removing anything from the skin, and I'll show you really close again. It's just blending her colors. So some of the splotchiness is going to go away. But I love this action because it just doesn't like disrupt that skin look, and I don't like my babies to look too overly done up because they're babies. Okay, so I've got that all in there. I typically, unless they've got some like major uneven skin tones in their eyes or in their eyelids, I typically don't touch that with the brush because I really like for those to be nice and crisp and sharp. And touching that with this deblotch brush, that's hard to say, would take some of that sharpness away. So now I am going to go back in because I don't need it quite that brushed on. I don't need it that thick. So I'm going to take it back down to probably, let's see, let's try like 85. I think I like that. Let me scroll in real close again. I just want you to see how that birthmark is still there, definitely. Her eyelashes are still nice and crisp here. But you can also see her little forehead hairs and all that little peach fuzz, and that's what I like. She did not have super hairy cheeks, but if you have a baby with super fuzzy little peach fuzz cheeks, you would definitely still be able to see that as well. And that's what I want. That's the goal. I am going to do her arms here because she does have some splotches in her arms. So if you watch this brush, see how it just pulls it all together, blends it all up. I love it. It doesn't take the color out of her skin, it just blends it together. Beautiful. Okay. So now we're going to leave it like that. Let's see. My next step is actually going to be the magic eraser in the same Totally Rad set. Ooh, that was weird. Let's see. This action gets a little bit closer to some of those little fine tunings versus just using the Band-Aid brush out of Photoshop. I'm gonna just grab this right here and click about. So lots of babies you'll see will have these little milk bumps on their noses. Leave those, please. That is so very specific to newborn babies. I absolutely love it. Same thing with their little blistered lips. Oh, my favorite. Forgot about this fuzz down here. Let's take care of that. Okay, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you a different way to take care of that. Because why not? So I'm going to merge my layers, and this is just going to help me. That's going to solidify everything I've done so far. So don't risk going back on any of that. We're good to move forward. Right here, you could do this several ways. This is a very easy way. I'm going to show you the clone stamp tool. I come down here, and we're going to hit, actually I'm going to bump my flow up on this to about 75. I'm going to hit my Alt key, and as I hit it, it's going to let me select the color that I want, and I'm going to click. Do a left click right there, and that, you'll see, I'll show you up here. See, that selected that blanket, and I'm just going to cover that dot, click it a few times, and that's gone, that's gone. There we go. That's it. Super easy. So now we're going to get back to her skin a little bit. This is very close to perfect. This is about where I would leave it, but I do want to add just a touch. So this is the blush brush from the Totally Rad set. Again, I'm going to enlarge my brush. I want to make sure that this is a very low flow, very low opacity. So if you look right here in her cheek, this is a Rembrandt lighting, so she's got the light coming in on this side, which is going to create this nice pink glow over here on this cheek in the shadow. I want to enhance that just a tad, like not much at all. So I'm just going to click right there and click right there, and see, and we'll go watch it. See, like it barely added anything, but just enough that I'm happy with it. Just want to make sure she's got a lot of dimension left in her face after smoothing. I will say, and I'm not going to use it on this image, but the eye makeover and eye pop in this, I just cannot recommend this set enough. Like if there is any action set you're going to get as far as skin or portraits, definitely highly recommend Pro Touch by Totally Rad. Do it. You will not regret. So we could go into Pop It, we could, which just kind of enhances colors and stuff. I'm not going to do any of that on this one. What I do want to show you is, let me scroll down here. So Skinologie. Skinologie is great. This is from Hello Little. This is an excellent set. I know that all of in their Skin All-in-One could definitely do this, and definitely, you know, so many people use this action. I just am stuck on Totally Rad. I love it, and I don't think I can ever stray from it. But their blemish balm and the dot and flake remover is amazing. And so are these. The red to cream is excellent also. So if you have a super red baby, and this baby is pretty red actually, but I kind of like her stay pink because that's like her skin tone. I do love the accent detail, subtle sharp, out of the Hello Little Skinologie collection, so I'm going to use that and show you